This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Coming up, Portland City Council voting to officially adopt ranked choice voting. We'll break down what that means for local elections in 2 minutes. Plus,
my heart is still in the game. I love the game. It's something I want to prove to myself, not nobody else.
That is Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills, who says he's ready to get back on the football field after suffering cardiac arrest in the middle of a game last season. We'll have more on his 4-month recovery in just a minute.
also, we are highlighting a homeless family shelter in Southeast Portland that's not only helping the community, but the environment too. We'll explain how coming up at 5:15.
It is a Thursday morning here on the Sunrise Show. Christine Pitawanich is still off this morning. I haven't mentioned that. Christine is taking a 3-week vacation, so you kind of don't mention it every single morning.
Apparently she just realized she can't stand working with us.
Hey now.
Or at least she just needed a small break from the three of us. Rob, what do you have for us in the weather world?
It's going to be a rainy day today. Remember, warm fronts typically bring hours of widespread steady rain. That's what will be moving in through the mid-morning hours. That batch of moisture right now is just starting to nip along the coast. Once this begins, which could be as early as the 8 o'clock hour here into Portland, then it will be raining the rest of the day into this evening. Nothing stormy, just it will be raining out there. All right, 38. Right now we actually have breaks in the cloud cover and it's chilly outside. Again, 38 degrees. Once the rain starts, it's going to be tough for the temperature to do much. So I've got us 48 at noon, and it may not be that warm. I have us 48 at 5 o'clock with a breezy south wind as the warmer air starts to move in. This should be the last kind of rotten temperature day that we have in a while. Back to you.
We're looking forward to the change, Rod. Thank you. Well, this morning, Portland has a new way to elect city commissioners. You may remember this all started back in November when voters approved a new city charter that included what's called ranked choice voting.
It was part of a major overhaul to the city's government. So for more on this, we bring in Devin Haskins this morning. Devin, voters will still have a while before that ranked choice appears on the ballot.
Yeah, correct. These changes to the election system in Portland won't be on the ballot until November of 2024. But it does kick things off for both the city to start educating voters about ranked choice voting and the 3 county elections offices, which Portland crosses, to start making changes to the ballots. When voters approved Measure 26-228, it created a new city charter. Some of the major changes, including creating 4 geographic districts and the election of 12 city councilors, 3 each per district. Starting in the November 2024 general election, voters will use ranked choice voting to elect the mayor, those 12 councilors, and a city auditor. What that means is when you vote, you'll choose your top candidate, your second choice, and then your third. The top 3 vote getters for each district will then get elected to office. With ranked choice voting, Portland actually becomes the 3rd jurisdiction in Oregon to adopt it, behind Benton County and Corvallis. Brenda?
Thank you, Devin, for the update. Well, today is Governor Tina Kotek's 101st day in office. And yesterday, she delivered a speech on her top 3 priorities: their education, homelessness, and behavioral health.
She also acknowledged that the challenges facing Oregon didn't happen overnight, and they won't be solved overnight. Joe Vernieri brings us more from Salem.
I, Tina Kotek.
Since being sworn in as Oregon's governor earlier this year, Governor Tina Kotek says there's one thing that stands out.
Potential. We have an abundance of people in our state who are willing to try things they've never done before to solve our greatest challenges.
She knows the challenges ahead aren't going to be easy.
The issues I'm prioritizing are of shared concern across the state and across party lines.
Kotek wants to keep nearly 9,000 people at risk from becoming homeless and focus on getting people who are living on the street into permanent housing.
We have begun the work to get us to building 36,000 more housing units per year. These goals are necessary and pragmatic.
Along with the housing crisis, the state is battling a mental health and addiction crisis.
Oregonians need a stronger, more accessible behavioral health system that meets them where they are and matches them with the appropriate level of care that they need.
Finding a solution won't come cheap. That's why she plans on asking lawmakers for help.
I'm calling on the legislature to approve at least another $1.3 billion before the session is over. $1 billion in bonding to build and preserve affordable housing.
The remaining $300 million would go toward continuing work helping people who are living on the streets. As for education,
I've been thrilled to see the progress on the Early Literacy Success Initiative that my office has worked on with Representative Jason Krupp from Bend to support every child's ability to read and write.
she wants to make sure Oregonians of all ages are on the path to success. In Salem, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Okay, let's talk about the governor's approval rating after 100 days in office. According to a new poll from the research firm Morning Consult, 42% of Oregonians approve of her job performance. But that's the lowest for any governor nationwide. Here's the caveat, though. Her disapproval rating is also low. It's 39%. 11 other states have governors with a higher disapproval rating. The Portland research firm DHM Research wanted to add further context. It says 19% of Oregonians surveyed neither approved nor disapproved of Governor Kotek.
Hey, tomorrow you'll have a chance to learn more about Governor Tina Kotek in a special edition of Straight Talk. The governor sat down with KGW anchor Laurel Porter. Again, you can watch that special edition of Straight Talk tomorrow at 7 right here on KGW.
Take a look at this massive fire. It happened at a vacant tavern in North Portland. This is on North Denver and Lombard in the Kenton neighborhood. Fire crews were called out there around 7:30 last night. Portland Fire says it's been to this building at least 8 times in the last year. According to Willamette Week, the old Farmer's Barn Tavern shut down in 2018. Squatters have lived there on and off ever since. Fire officials say they had to cut power and block off traffic near the area, but it doesn't appear anyone was inside or injured.
We did everything we possibly could to evaluate every opening to see if there was anybody in the structure, but it was just heavy fire and smoke, and it was just too dangerous given that we know there are holes in the floors from previous fires here. Even though we have a history with it, we know it's a very dangerous building.
At last check, power has been restored and traffic is back to normal. No word yet how the fire started.
OHSU is joining a nationwide effort to help people who suffer from traumatic injuries. So organizers of this effort say it is especially important these days given the rise in mass shootings across the country. Doctors say bleeding from a traumatic injury is often the cause of death, not the injury itself. So OHSU is highlighting what's known as Stop the Bleeding Month. Health officials say learning life-saving skills is important because when dealing with a traumatic injury, every second really counts.
It takes time for first responders to arrive, and if there is a person standing there who has some sort of training that could help apply pressure to a bleed to stop it, the results for that patient are better. They potentially could survive the injury.
You can see some of the training that was happening yesterday. Volunteers practiced using bandages and tourniquets on a mannequin that had simulated wounds.
This event was life-changing, but it's not the end of my story. So I'm here to announce that I plan on making a comeback to the NFL.
That is Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin. He was just cleared to play football again after suffering cardiac arrest during a game back in January. Hamlin says a direct blow to a very specific part of his heart caused it to stop beating. According to the Bills general manager, several specialists have cleared Hamlin to play. I was watching that game when that happened back in January, and that shook me up seeing that happen.
It's hard to put yourself in that man's shoes, but I'm thinking from my own standpoint, if that happened, I don't know if I'd want to play again. Right?
I'm out, definitely.
But if that's all you know, and if that's all you've ever done your whole life, and that is your career, you know, like I said, it may be a different standpoint there.
Let's hope it was such a ridiculously
freak thing, yes.
That
it never happens to anyone again.
Yeah. Talk about the whole country pulling for somebody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Seems like a very, very nice young man. Here's a look at our satellite picture. We have the ball of moisture offshore that is with a warm front. I'm talking about this right here. It's going to be just marching inland. Right now, radar is starting to pick up some light stuff down around Newport, but we're dry and actually still partly cloudy, at least in spots up and down the I-5 corridor. And with the dry, partly cloudy weather currently, it's chilly. 39 Salem, 38 Portland, 38 Kelso. Just above freezing out in the Dalles, 23 degrees over in Bend this morning. We do have clouds thickening up along the Oregon coast. Here's Futurecast. So I think this timing could be maybe at the earliest. I mean, I don't think it will be any faster than this. This shows 8:30 in the morning this morning. We're starting to see the rain come in. Now, warm fronts often bring hours and hours and hours of just steady, widespread rain. Typically not stormy, just rainy. That's what we're going to get today. A very rainy Thursday. Here we are at 11 o'clock this morning, raining across the area. Here we are at 4 o'clock. The warm front is now nearing I-5, and you see it starting to break up the rain up in Astoria, but still raining through the afternoon commute and then breaking up this evening. And then behind this warm front, we're in that warm batch of air for a couple of very comfortable days, I think tomorrow and Saturday. And I'm carrying a shower chance in my forecast for tomorrow and on Saturday. This is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Futurecast shows dry weather, shows a couple of drips of rain later in the day. But really, I think if you have outdoor plans tomorrow or Saturday, it's going to be dry most of the time, just with that shower chance. Weather models show about 3/10 of an inch of rain, a little bit more from Kelso down through Corvallis today, and over 1/2 of an inch to maybe 62 and 100s in Lincoln City for the total rainfall coming in. Our forecast for today, rain could hold us in the 40s because we're not going to get a break from it once it starts in the coming few hours. The show is 48 in Corvallis. South winds gusty as that warm front comes in this afternoon to about 30 miles per hour at times, especially down in the Mid-Valley. Similar numbers up through southwest Washington today. So here's the mainly dry weather Friday and Saturday with the more comfortable weather, the cold front on Sunday. Could we start next Tuesday finally a run of sunny, warm days?
Yes.
Well, we don't know the answer to that, but it looks possible.